Hey guys, so Lylia was a little bit nerfed, but then she got a little bit buffed. In case you didn't know, now she doesn't get full stacks of her second skill right from the start, but they buff her first skill and now he has lower cooldown. This is great because you can farm faster without having to rely too much on her second skill, which you want to save the charges for killing the enemy instead. These are my builds. I like getting the Lightning Truncheon and Calamity Reaper to help me farm faster, and they help me with the cooldown reduction. This is really important since you want to charge your second skill as quickly as possible. This is the recommended emblem. Since you are mainly going to use Retribution when you are playing her, you don't need to use the support emblem. At the start of the game, always buy a magic necklace first so you don't run out of mana that quickly. I was planning to buy the purple jungle item, but I remember that they have Hellcore, so it's better to get the defensive jungle item instead. Lylia is kind of like Kimi. She is extremely powerful right from the start. You can easily bully the enemies in the early game. I'm trying to deny as much farm as I can, because when you play Lylia, you want to play as aggressive as possible right from the start, and give your team as much advantage as possible. If you don't do this, then Lylia just become a pretty mediocre hero. You have to learn what are the strengths and weaknesses of each hero in order to play them to their maximal potential. My team right now is focusing too much on forcing fights that they kind of forgot that there are other lanes in the game. Like right now, Granger should definitely be at the bottom lane, taking his red buff and farming the wave. He's losing a lot of gold. I saw the small crab, but I didn't want to waste any more time to take the blue buff. If I had spent some mana trying to take the small crab, I would have lost most of my mana and then I wouldn't have been able to gank. In order to deal the most damage and trigger the chain reaction from her second skill, you have to hit it with her first skill first. Once the chain reaction is activated, if you use her second skill right after, it will continue the explosions. The longer the chain reaction, the more damage the second skill will cause. When clearing the minion wave, try not to use her second skill if it's not necessary. Just simply use her first skill to clear them, and since they lower her first skill cooldown, you can clear them fast without much trouble. You want to save the second skill charges to kill the enemy instead. One of the most important tips to play Lylia properly is to know how to manage her second skill charges. I have seen that a lot of Lylia players just keep using her second skill mindlessly just to clear some minion wave. That's not efficient. You want to have almost full charges before you engage in a team fight. I saw that Jawhead and companies were coming towards the top lane, so let's retreat a little bit and wait for Hellcore's ultimate to run out first. If you just have won a big team fight, you can use her ultimate to recharge her second skill, because by the time they respawn, your ultimate will probably be available again. Here you can see that I'm using the second skill to clear the minion wave fast. I want to push the top lane before the enemies come back.
You will join me in the adventures, won't you?
I saw that Chloe is coming as well, so let's try to take the crab as quickly as possible before they contest it. If you have seen my tips and tricks video about playing tanks properly, you will know that a lot of time it's a good idea to not wait for the carry to finish the buff. There's no need for that. Instead, you should think about what you can do as a tank to help your team. In this case, defending the top lane or even providing vision in the bush. If you haven't seen that video, I will leave the link to that video in the description below. Also, if you want more of these tips and tricks videos, you should definitely like the video and subscribe to the channel, because those things give me the energy to create more of these videos. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I think Mobile Legends decided to increase the volume of the sound effects of the attack animation. I could clearly hear that Claude is attacking a jungle monster, which tells me he's definitely taking the red buff. Remember, when you play Lylia, try to deny as much farm as possible, so the enemies don't have a chance to catch up and make a comeback. There's no minion wave in the middle lane, so I'm pinging to let my teammate know where we should push next. Like I said before, if you have won a big team fight, then you can use her ultimate to gain some health back and fully recharge her second skill. By the way, the shoes that are following Lylia will indicate where she's going to go back to when she uses her ultimate. And in case you didn't know, he also provides map vision. So when you're playing against Lylia and you see her shoes, that means that she was just there a moment ago and she can see you on the map. Lylia's damage is absolutely disgusting if you manage to create a big chain reaction. By the way, here Freya is doing the turtle, but that's actually not a good play. If you have seen my video about the best tips and tricks that will improve your gameplay immediately, then you will know that if your team has a huge advantage and it's already past minute 8, then your team shouldn't take the turtle, because that will delay the spawn time of the Lord, and you want to use the Lord to finish the game as soon as possible. Of course, I will leave the link of that video in the description below.
You will join me in the adventure.
Your team destroyed a turret. Launch attack.
You can see I have low HP, so let's use the ultimate to gain health back and recharge her second skill. I have noticed that the enemy are split pushing a lot, which is probably the only way they might pull a victory.
Our turret is under attack. Our turret is under attack.
Here I'm telling my teammates what we should do in order to avoid the constant split pushing, because that's the only way we can screw this up. Macroing your teammates is actually pretty important in Mobile Legends. If you're in high rank, the possibility that they might listen to you is pretty high. Not every time, but always worth the try. Just like I predicted, I knew either Hellcore or Jawhead will try to split push. Let's just take the Lord and end the game already. We probably could have ended it sooner, but the spawn time of the Lord was delayed by almost 2 minutes.
Launch attack. Killing spree.
I believe Lylia is extremely good pick now that they lowered the cooldown of her first skill, because now she can farm without relying too much on her second skill, which is essential to save them for killing the enemies instead.
Launch attack.
I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe.
First blood.
Hey guys, I have decided to do a weekly skin giveaway. I will randomly choose 3 winners. The prize is 900 diamonds worth of giveaway for each person. All you have to do is subscribe, which is very important, and leave a comment. But please don't leave your ID or the skin you want, because I won't be picking those. If you are selected, I will send a reply to your comment, so pay attention to your notification. Thanks and best of luck.